There we go.
There we are.
I have to look at the
So
date. Yeah.
can I say hello now?
Yes.
Hi, Emmett. Hi, Leanna.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for being here,
Yay.
especially because we have started up a random pattern for our shows.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Or just, who knows when we'll pop up with a MAAT session.
Surprise.
Okay. So what's today, Vida?
It is May
18th, 2022. Also being recognized as Trauma Awareness Day here in Nova Scotia. So we've had it proclaimed for 2 years in a row now.
Yes.
I just want to share a screen for a second, and I guess maybe we'll do that in a minute because we usually do introductions first.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So we'll do that in a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
So I am Margaret Major, and I am a registered counseling therapist here at the After Trauma Empowerment Network in Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia. I am joined with Vida Woodworth, who is co-host and chairperson on our board of directors here at ATTEN. Kate Matthews is also here. We don't see Kate, and we never see Kate. Does Kate even exist? But she's here with us tonight, and whenever we do a show, she's faithfully here to do our technical directing behind the scenes. So thank you,
Yes.
Kate.
And also do research for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Kate knows all the information in that brain. Like,
yeah.
Just
or,
ask Kate.
Yeah.
I'll fire
and
Kate
she'll
off a
find
text and she will. And if she doesn't know it, she'll find it within
That's
seconds.
Right, yeah.
I don't know what web she's surfing, but she finds it.
She obviously types faster than I do.
I've seen her laptop, and some of the letters are worn out.
Oh.
Okay, so before we do our check-in, we're going to do our diversity welcome. And I want to, as Vida already stated, I also want to give a shout out to Emmett and Leanna. Thank you for being here and spending some time with us on this Trauma Awareness Day. Okay, so, and we did not write this diversity welcome. If anybody knows who does, please let us know, and we will give them the proper credit they are due and deserve.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'd like to welcome all women, men, transgender, and other identified individuals here today. We welcome everyone here who is a mother, father, sister, brother, auntie, uncle, son, daughter, cousin, grandmother, grandfather, parent, sibling, caregiver. Welcome. We welcome people of all races, tribes, and descents. We welcome your bodies, your minds, and your energy. We welcome victims, survivors, and those who support them. We welcome all people single, married, partnered, dating, celibate, or involved in whatever sort of relationship is right for you. We welcome gay, lesbian, bisexual, heterosexual, asexual, queer, two-spirited, and others for whom none of the current labels fit. We welcome your emotions, your joy, bliss, happiness, rage, anger, disappointment, frustration, all of your emotions. Welcome. We welcome those living with chronic medical conditions and disabilities, visible and invisible. We welcome mystics, seekers, and believers of all kinds. We welcome people who identify as activists, community leaders, group members, artists, musicians, community leaders, and those who don't. And finally, we'd like to welcome the ancestors who lived in this land where we are now. Welcome the spirits of Mi'kmaq, the natives who lived in this area before the Europeans came. We'd like to acknowledge them and invite their spirits to this space. Everyone, welcome. And thank you for joining us, for checking this out, for spending a little bit of time. If you like this video, please subscribe. that,
Yeah.
yes. Okay, so check-in. It's been a
Yeah.
while, Vida. It's been since April 6th. We have not done a MAAT
Wow.
session. April
Oh.
6th. Our last guest was Wyatt Sanford.
That's right. Yes, he
Yes.
was. And I still had my boxing gloves
Do
that I
you?
had. Yeah,
There you
still
go.
have them. And anyway, yeah, it's a whole month and more. So
I know, it's almost a month and a half.
yeah.
Gee.
Wow. Well, I won't take you through a day-by-day update on
Recount
what
of the
I've been
last
up-
month and a half.
yeah, what I've been up to. Just pretty much the same kind of stuff. I'm happy that we've had some lovely days, you know, and some warmth, and I'm loving seeing the leaves that are coming out and the dandelions, and I'm doing the no mow in May. So my lawn, even though it's very tiny where I live now, has not been mowed in honor of the bees who need to have the dandelions in order to survive and to do what they do. And without bees, we wouldn't do a whole lot.
I haven't heard of this. No, what did you call it?
It's called No Mow May.
Oh,
And what they did was they encouraged people to let their lawns kind of keep growing in May and allow the dandelions to come up. And the bees, of course, can use the nectar and whatever,
okay.
and then, you know, and it helps them in their cycle of life so that they have some food, because there's not as many flowers and things around at this early springtime. And yeah, because there's there is a concern that the bee population around the world is dwindling very quickly.
Yeah.
And we rely on bees to help pollinate other things, yeah, flowers and trees and whatever. And yeah, so basically without bees, we would be in some pretty deep doo-doo, because we wouldn't have like a lot of vegetables and fruit and all that kind of stuff. And it would affect our food chain very dramatically.
Well,
So
thank you for enlightening me about that. I have heard, but didn't have it explained to me in that way. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, I am also needing to get a new lawnmower. So that's part of it. But no, I
that
really
fits right in.
Yeah, do a little, you know, my piece or part that I can to help the environment and our bumblebees and honeybees and so on. Oh, bless you.
Woo.
There.
Have
Are you
some of
okay?
my peach juice.
Oh, yes, that will help.
It's the tickle that waited until we started the show.
Oh,
and then it's like, here I am.
Jumping out. Yeah, so I just been doing my thing, and yeah, watching hockey. Montreal, of course, wasn't even in the playoffs, and I did wholeheartedly cheer for Toronto, but alas, they didn't make it through to the second round.
Oh, it was intense.
Yeah. And I'm worried that somehow I may have jinxed them, but I don't think I have, because they've lost in other years when I wasn't cheering for them. So, and I've been, of course, watching baseball. I got Mom a Toronto Blue Jays official jersey in the dark blue, and she wanted to have Vladdy Guerrero's name and number on the back, so she wears it when she's watching her baseball games.
Oh,
and I did get one for myself, because my favorite player is Bo Bichette.
Yes.
So we both wear them when we can while we're watching.
Maybe you'll wear them to the jam.
Oh, well, I have a special one that is their Canada Day one. They did one in red. And
Ooh.
it just is in red and has everything else that the regular uniform has. So I'll perhaps wear that just
Okay.
because it's a little different. And yeah, I had hoped either to get a Montreal Canadiens jersey when they did one. They have them made for Pride,
Oh,
but they only make enough for them to wear, and then they auction them off to do a
oh.
fundraiser. So I don't, and they usually go for quite a bit of money. So
Mm,
anyway, I'll just kind of wear my red Toronto Blue Jays jersey. So
sounds good, Vida.
anyway, and I am looking forward to the jam this weekend.
Yes.
And
Oh, I can't
I can't
wait.
believe it's the long weekend in May already.
I know.
And but it should be lots of fun, good music, good people, and good
Good
food, I
food.
hear.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yes.
So anyway,
Now I
so
need to point something out, Vida. It keeps
yeah,
standing out to me as I'm listening to you. The way that you're positioned tonight,
yeah.
the light is right above your head. And it looks like, in cartoons when somebody has an idea and they get the
Oh,
light. It looks like you've got one of those
I
idea
have an
light bulbs above
idea.
your head. Yes.
I hope that means that my brain will work
You're
even better
just
than it
shining.
normally does. Yes, I used to have the sun over my shoulder when we first started in the other space.
Yes,
But
the
yeah,
sunset.
but now I have a light bulb. So
Yeah, yeah. That just
yeah,
shows how brilliant and smart you
yeah. And anyway, not that people want to know, but the update on my teeth is I may
are.
be maybe going another 3 months before I actually get them. I had one of my implants came out, and I thought that I'd be able to get my teeth, even though once it's replaced, like right away, but apparently not. They want me to wait
Yeah,
at least 8 weeks or more before, just to be sure it's healed and so on.
right.
So
Yeah.
I am still awaiting my new teeth, and I'm sure we'll do a whole special show when they arrive.
Oh,
And you'll be seeing lots of selfies and all kinds of stuff. So
yes.
yeah, but other than that, no, I'm doing good, and I'm excited that we're back and able to do a show tonight on this very important day, Trauma Awareness Day. And
Yes. Yes, I'm
it's
gonna
our
find that proclamation.
second year. And thank you, Margaret, for doing the work it took to let the person know, our premier, that we would like to have this acknowledged, and
Yeah.
you have done it for 2 years. So thank you. And
Yay.
yeah, so there's the official proclamation.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that means that maybe we might also get another letter from them with a little bit of a check in it or something. You never know.
I
'Cause,
I I I wish it was as simple as having a trauma awareness day proclaimed in a province
yes,
to get
yes,
funding for
yeah,
this. We'll call it an essential vital service.
yes. And
It's,
it is
it is.
very essential and vital and important. And yes, so
I haven't lost
hopefully
all
they'll
hope yet.
they'll
Yeah.
sort themselves out and figure out that that giving us some core funding would be very a good decision by government.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We're working on it. We're
yeah.
working on it.
And the other thing I guess I just wanted in finishing is just say, Margaret, I know that you have been anxiously awaiting kind of a launch or whatever for our latest fundraising initiative,
Okay.
which is a very beautiful quilt that
I'll bring that up too.
yeah, that you
There we
worked
go.
very hard to make the beginning happen. And maybe you could tell people kind of about a little bit more about it. So if people,
Okay.
are wondering.
Okay. So what we're doing with this fundraiser is there's this quilt. So this is a project that I did last year. There is, I forget, but there's over 700 squares, I believe. No, or is it 400? 700 in this quilt. And we are, as a fundraiser, we are selling the squares, each white square on the quilt and each heart. Although we're not limiting the amount of hearts. If we sell a quilt full of hearts, then that is just wonderful.
Yes.
We would be, our rent would be good for a long time.
Yes.
That would be great.
Yes.
And that's what this fundraiser is for. It's for our basic operational expenses. So rent, phone, internet, office supplies. It's not to pay staff, it's for our operational expenses. And we're calling it the Community Heroes Quilt. So what you can do is purchase a square or a heart. And then we have a machine that we're going to embroider either your name, a business name, name of a loved one, of somebody that you define as a community hero for you. It could be a favorite kind of phrase like stay strong or love and hope or whatever is important to you.
Yeah.
So one square is $50 and a heart is $150. And then once we sell all the hearts, all the spaces available on the quilt, and all the names are embroidered, I'm going to spend some time doing some quilt work on it. And then this quilt with all the names will be displayed in our office as well as other community organizations and businesses in our area, just to, celebrate and recognize community heroes. And I just wanted to say just a couple of words about community heroes. Because I think some people think, well, I might volunteer, I might do this for this person, but that doesn't make me a hero. To me, anybody who makes this world a better place in some capacity, to me, is a hero. They don't wear capes. They're not super people. They don't fly through the air. They quietly contribute to this world being a better place. They are everywhere around us. Mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, grandparents, your partner, a friend, neighbor, coworker, teammate, bandmate, teacher, professor. They make a positive difference in your life and or the lives of many people. A community hero is empowered and demonstrates how a person with passion and determination can use their life to make a difference. And then the question to ask yourself is, who has made a positive difference in your life? And then to consider supporting this fundraiser and sending us their name, and we'll put it on the quilt.
Yes, yeah.
So if you go to our website, www.attendns.ca, under the menu, there's a title for Community Heroes. And that's where you can order either a heart or a square. And once we have all the names or names of the people that are going on the quilt, we're going to list those here on this Community Heroes webpage as well, just to recognize the community heroes that we have, because we don't do this enough in our world. And there's such amazing heroes everywhere. So we're happy to be doing this in our community for our community. And we ask for you to consider supporting this. Yes.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's a beautiful quilt. And, I know that you like to keep busy, especially when you're watching hockey games and I think it's a wonderful idea. And
Yeah.
it's a way, I guess, for people who can to support us financially through the, purchasing a square or a heart. But it's also a way to either, again, put some positive words out there in the universe on the quilt, or to put someone's name. And, I'm thinking, I've been very blessed. I have a quite a long list of people that I think probably would qualify as community heroes.
Me too.
But we might need to make a few more quilts, and I need to make a lot more money to purchase the squares of the heart. But and the reason they're a hero, you could share when you do that, when you make the purchase.
Oh, yes, yes.
If you want. But you can, it can be a private thing, because really, they're a hero to you. No one else needs to know, but their name will always be on the quilt. And
yeah, we have had a couple of anonymous donors already.
Yeah.
And that's okay too.
Yeah. So it's another way, I guess, to recognize people. And I, to me, I guess the reason my list would be so long too is over the years and doing the work that you do and I have done. Every person I've met through my work, to me, is a hero. And and they may not always think of themselves in that way, but for anyone who's experienced trauma or abuse, and who has gotten through it in whatever way they were able to get through it, and they're here, to me, they're heroes, because to get through some of the things that people experience takes a lot of strength and courage, and it also takes hope, that things will get better, either in their lives or in other people's lives. And so realistically, if I had kept a list of all the names of the people I've met through the work that I've done, even when I was a teacher, and even when I worked in a farm and picked strawberries, I met people who were heroes, either in my life maybe, or in the lives of someone else. So yes, I think it's an important thing that we start to kind of lift up the people who do these things, and celebrate the fact that they walk amongst us. And it's just a really cool way, Margaret, I that you came up with, to recognize people who are heroes.
Thank you, Vida.
So
Yes,
anyway,
I can't wait to get working on it again.
I know your fingers have been twitching, because you
Well,
need to
I've been making
working.
baskets, and I've got so many baskets now. I need something different.
Yes, and you this Tuesday, Margaret, you shared with a group of women, the idea of making the baskets, and every one of the people in the room that day were so touched by the idea of making the baskets, and it was really cool to see how they kind of joined in on your creativeness and your excitement about doing that.
It was a great afternoon yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it was.
I look forward to our
it was
part two.
Yes, it was yesterday.
Part two.
I was thinking, that was a week ago, but no, it was yesterday. And I enjoyed it as well.
I have those weeks, Vida, where a Tuesday feels like it should be a Friday. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is going to be a week. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
oh my, almost a half an hour's gone by.
Oh dear.
Oh, Vida, how do we do this?
Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wrote in big letters on my whiteboard, triggers. So I just need to do just a trigger warning. because we're
Yes.
going to talk just a little bit. We're, Vida and I could go for hours talking about
Yes.
trauma. I've been studying, researching, working with, dealing with trauma for years, and I still only know that much because there's so much to know and learn. So we're not going to cover everything about trauma, but there's a piece that I wrote back in 2005 that I'm going to share, and I especially want to do a trigger warning with that. Just make sure that you feel your feet in your shoes, you're grounded, and practice your self-care. And if you need to reach out to somebody, please do that. Okay. So because it's Trauma Awareness Day, we just wanted to talk about the different types of trauma, just a little bit, because we could pick any one type, like psychological maltreatment trauma, and focus on that for a whole show, or sexualized violence trauma, forced displacement. I mean, there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
And intergenerational trauma. So we're just going to talk a little bit about the different kinds of trauma, symptoms of trauma, how to, I guess, cope with triggers and flashbacks with trauma, how to help support someone else, and post-traumatic growth, which we don't hear a lot about post-traumatic growth. And I think that it's just as important to talk about the growth aspect that can result from trauma as it is about the symptoms and the different kinds of trauma. Because a lot of the focus is on trauma being a heavy, oh no. And people experience significant, incredible growth as a result of having lived through and experienced the trauma. So we'll just talk about that for a minute too. So it's important to note that what is traumatic for one person might not be traumatic for another. So Vida and I, for example, could be in a car accident, and maybe Vida walks away and she's, a little shooken up, and there's some little elements of shock going on, and just, some normal responses that way. I might walk away from that and live with trauma or be traumatized from it, which means I'm having flashbacks, I'm having intrusive thoughts, I am having maybe physical symptoms, nausea, headaches, body pain. There's so many. There's shaking, there's anxiety, there's depression, there's appetite, sleeping too much or too little, like all of these symptoms of trauma. So examples of different kinds of trauma is physical abuse or assault, sexual abuse, violence or assault, emotional abuse, psychological maltreatment, neglect. Neglect is a form of trauma. A serious accident or illness or medical procedure could be very, very traumatic. And that includes like dental work as well. Witness to domestic or community violence, natural or man-made disasters, forced displacement, war, terrorism, political violence, traumatic grief or separation, system-induced trauma, intergenerational trauma. And I think that we'll just add a little bit more with the intergenerational, because it's a form of trauma that's gained more attention over the past few years, especially in the last year with all the talk about the residential schools and the mass graves that were discovered, and how so intergenerational or transgenerational trauma is how trauma is passed down through families, through systems, through communities. Can be genetic, and it can also be environmental. And that is how trauma can be passed from one generation onto the next.
Mhm.
So this generation experiences trauma, let's say a mother or a father. And that trauma, it doesn't get resolved, dealt with, healed, processed. And in an attempt to cope, and because their trauma hasn't healed, that wound gets passed on as well. And another really important type of trauma is vicarious trauma. So vicarious trauma is when you experience like a traumatic response, reaction, and symptoms related to trauma as a result of being exposed to other people's trauma. So you could be hearing repeated stories about other people's trauma, just being a listener, being a care provider, working with people that are in a lot of pain and not being able to relieve that. Just watching somebody processing their trauma sometimes can be very hard on a person who's witnessing that. And repeatedly experiencing that, you can start to develop symptoms associated with vicarious trauma or compassion fatigue, as sometimes it's used interchangeably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there anything that you wanted to add to the examples, like the types of trauma that, like there's probably a lot of other ones,
Yeah.
but is there anything that you wanted to add to that?
Only that with vicarious trauma, it can be an accumulation of hearing a story. I've disappeared or you've disappeared. Can you hear me, Margaret?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay.
You're here.
Okay. No, you're back.
Oh.
Anyway, just an accumulation of listening to stories or witnessing traumatic things. And sometimes, people after, think, okay, I'm doing okay. And they go on with their lives. And then maybe something else traumatic happens to them or someone else. And they either hear the story or see it happen. And, people may go on, but eventually, once you can only accumulate so much, and then you will start to suffer the symptoms. And the same as if, trauma, the actual trauma had happened to you. And so
Yes.
It's something that we see a lot. Like we often think about people who are, ambulance EMTs, doctors, police officers, people in the military. Like we often think of those people. And of course, yes, they do kind of are in jobs that they are going to be hearing and seeing and witnessing trauma a lot. But we forget now with the age of, television and the internet and everything, we've almost become witnesses. We can witness things as they're happening by watching the news or going online and watching the coverage of disasters or wars or different things. And so, more and more people who wouldn't think of themselves as working with trauma are accumulating that trauma. And so they too, may end up beginning to have the symptoms of trauma and so on. And so it's important, that you know what they are, and either so that you can help yourself if you recognize them in yourself, or you can help someone else. And it's very important that no matter what kind of trauma, that people know that it's okay to reach out for help. It's okay to talk to someone. It doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean, that you're doing something wrong. And that's true with all kinds of trauma, whatever it is. It's not because you're suffering with the symptoms doesn't mean that you did something wrong, or you're not as strong as somebody else. It's important whenever those symptoms, especially when they're affecting your day-to-day life, that it's okay to reach out. And lots of times people will suffer the symptoms of the trauma as if they've had trauma, but they can't identify, what is it? And so sometimes just helping, going and talking to someone and talking through it will help you kind of identify what it is, if it's one thing or an accumulation. Yeah. And that can be really helpful just to figure that out. Yeah. So I know, as you said, we could talk a lot about each and every one.
No, that was great info that you just gave.
But yeah, I think it's important, especially today, nowadays, when whether it's pictures or videos or audio things that you can hear, please be aware and know that it can affect anybody, and it's important to get that support or assistance or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
So
thank you. And since you're talking so much about recognizing the symptoms, this would be a great leadway into symptoms. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've got a short list of symptoms, and then I've got an extensive, well, I'm sure it doesn't include all, because like I said, I'm still learning all the time about trauma, how trauma manifests, how it affects this person differently, and how, this strategy works great for this person, but not for you. And so let me see, I'm gonna flip my page over here. So with trauma, it's in a moment where the brain, the back part of the brain, we don't have control over that part of our brain. It's a primitive part of the brain. I'm sure Kate probably knows the very technical term for it, because she knows the brain like nobody's business.
Is it the amygdala?
Not in the back.
Not in the back.
No.
I'm not even going to keep guessing.
Okay. So that kicks in when it registers threat. So as soon as the brain goes threat, it kicks in to protect you. So those are the responses of fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or submit is the other response. So fight, you're going to fight. You're going to use physical, you're going to fight, try to get out of that threatening situation to protect yourself. Flight is you're going to try to run. You're going to try to flee the threat, to get away, to protect yourself. Freezing, which is a common response during sexual abuse, sexual assault, is I've heard from a lot of people who've experienced sexualized violence that the freeze response kicks in. That's where you've got all the adrenaline running through your body and you can't say or move anything. It's not that you're saying, well, this is okay, because I've had people say, Margaret, why did my body fail me? Why didn't I punch them? Why didn't I scream? Why couldn't I say something? And it's like, that is what your brain assessed in that second, that milli moment. Your brain froze you to protect you from further harm. Now, fawn or submit is when you're not consenting, but in order to protect yourself, you're going along with. And that's something that's being talked about more and more and more. It used to just be fight or flight. Now, freeze is more commonly recognized, and now fawn also, because that's that often happens in abusive relationships. And I've been on the phone, and the way that the person is talking to me, and then when the person who is abusing them comes into the room, complete switch. So incredible, so fascinating. So in that moment of threat, these are the symptoms that a person may experience. And these are from the sympathetic nervous system, these responses. So high emotional responses: rage, fear, agitation, restlessness, intense crying. Those are normal responses to trauma. Talking fast and repeating oneself over and over and over. Hypervigilance, just looking around, trying to make sure they know where everything's at and all time and in control. High startle response and jumpy. Twitches, jerks, and trembling. The body may rid itself of materials by urinating or regurgitating. So yes, you may urinate in your pants. You may vomit. You may even have a bowel movement because you've got so much going through. Like it's quite intense what the body goes through in a moment of trauma. And I keep saying moment. It can last. I mean, you can take a traumatic experience and it can be over 1 minute, like a car accident, for example, or like the piece that I'm going to share about a traumatic experience that I went through that lasted a few minutes, but a lifetime for me. Like that is never gone. So these are symptoms from the parasympathetic nervous system. And these again are like immediate kind of symptoms that a person may experience after trauma. They may isolate or withdraw themselves from people, not wanting to, stay away. Difficulty being around others, collapsing. You can just collapse. And we were just talking about that yesterday, I believe, and how you can develop paralysis. Although I think that is more longer term symptom associated with trauma. Weak ankles. Shock, so numb or shut down, lack of feeling, just meh. Nothing's going on emotionally. No talking, lack of ability to express oneself, disorientation, dissociation or zoning out, checking out, feeling paralyzed or unable to move. And those are like some immediate symptoms of trauma. Now, for longer term, so this is when the immediate physiological impact is not resolved and discharged out of the system, because all that energy, we need to allow it to discharge, to go. But what happens is people kind of close off and it becomes stuck in here. And for a lot of people who've experienced trauma, they may not have a safe outlet to discharge that trauma, that intense emotion and energy that's going through them. They may be living in a situation where they experience trauma after trauma after trauma, and the body and the brain never have a chance to kind of come down and stabilize at a normal, healthy level. I thought of another example, but it popped out of my head. Okay.
Oh,
Yes. So this list is quite long, but it covers so many things that I think a lot of people are unaware that are associated with trauma. So flashbacks, nightmares, intrusive imagery of the event or intrusive thoughts. So those thoughts that just pop into your mind, you're doing the dishes or eating supper, talking with a friend or whatever, and bing, something you experienced 30 years ago is right there.
Yeah.
Or something you saw in a movie 5 years ago that was really disturbing or upsetting for you. And it could even be something that you've never seen, but your brain they're intrusive, they're unwanted, They're
Mhm.
usually disturbing. Recurring or ruminating thoughts about the event. So just kind of stuck on replay over and over and over and over. Hypervigilance, high startle response, irritability, agitation, restlessness, can't sit still, heightened emotions, difficulty sleeping, lack of appetite or overeating, constant worry, paranoia, anxiety attacks, difficulty concentrating or focusing, headaches, nausea, feeling disconnected, empty, sad, isolated, numb, and detached, loss of motivation, pleasure, or drive, withdrawal from others, confusion, disorientation, fogginess, constant tiredness, fatigue, sleeping all the time but not rested, fear of going crazy, feelings of helplessness and hopelessness, self-blame, guilt, and shame, self-hatred, belief of being a failure or damaged, addictions and compulsive coping patterns such as drugs, alcohol, internet, shopping, gambling, sex, work, hypersensitive to criticism, being exposed or being seen as a failure, waiting to be disappointed, hurt, attacked, blamed, or abandoned, not trusting yourself or others, difficulty with boundaries. You feel easily manipulated and struggle to say no, struggling to keep relationships, difficulty feeling intimacy, people-pleasing behaviors, avoiding social events, abusive and defensive behaviors towards others, difficulty starting or completing projects, tasks, and responsibilities, staying in an abusive relationship or being abusive in relationships, struggling to relax or have fun, reckless or risky behaviors, mistrust of and reactive towards authority, shyness, and struggling with sexuality and sexual behaviors. And again, there's a lot more things we could add to that, but that's, I think that's probably one of the best lists that I've come across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So, yeah, we're at 6:50.
I
okay.
know it's it's a lot, but
Okay.
yeah, we'll
Oh.
do our best to get covers, things. And again, it's just
We're
a
getting
way
there,
for
Vida.
people to hear this information, and maybe it will help them understand themselves or someone they know a little bit better, and would help them to sort of find the direction they need to go to start, learning more and more about it as it affects them.
Yeah.
Or is thinking, okay, maybe I do need to go talk to someone and they can help me, work through it. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think before we go on to like how to be helpful
Mm-hmm.
and post-traumatic growth, and just talk about that for a minute before we go, I'm going to read this piece. So back in 2005, I was telling Vida before the show about how this piece came to be. It's only a short poem. It was around 6:30 in the morning. I can't remember which day of the week it was. And I had this memory in my brain, and I said to myself, I wonder if I can capture that on paper the way it is in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
So I grabbed a piece of paper and a pen, and I wrote this the way it was going through my head. So that's how I tried to capture it on paper. And I called a friend later that morning and I said, I want to read something that I wrote. And I got halfway through it and we both started bawling our heads off.
Mhm.
So I want to share that.
Mhm.
I know that people, there's going to be people that are going to watch this who are going to relate to this at some point in their life.
Mhm.
Okay. It's called Bitter Taste of Shame. Only 13, short jean skirt. You 18, stronger hands than mine. Darkness surrounds the dim lit corner as I sat on your lap. Firm hands clench my head. One hand push. Heart pounds nervously. Two hand push. Red-faced resistance. Silent screams echo. I don't want to do this. What is happening? Please let me go. Eyes closed, hands in fists, grasping innocence, face on fire. Gagging. I can't breathe. Helpless. I swallow. My self-respect. Forever to stomach the bitter taste of shame. That, what I just shared, was a moment of trauma for me when I was 13 years old. This, I know that somebody's going to hear this and you're not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah.
So to move into post-traumatic growth,
Okay.
I would
Just
not, yeah,
Can I just say before we do,
yes,
I just want to, thank you, Margaret, for sharing that. And I know it will help someone, who will hear it. And the other thing is too, it shows, in your healing journey and in your life journey, writing can be something that can really help people
so powerful.
who have, are dealing with any kind of trauma. And sometimes, people have said to me, it's like taking the pain and the emotions and in some way the writing and putting it on paper helps to get it out and often immediately can help, I guess, relieve or reduce some of the pain and the emotion that goes with it. And then when people are ready and can be able to share like you did, again, in doing that sharing is another step in your journey.
Yeah.
And it may be a step in someone else's to realize something like I'm not alone, and to see you today and say it can get better and I can go on and do things. This doesn't have to ruin
Define me.
all my life. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to have power over me forever.
No.
And I just, thank you, Margaret, for
Thank you,
sharing
Vida.
that. And
Thank you.
yeah, I think that, yeah, it was pretty, powerful and very important.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for people to know that, yes, that doesn't define me. Our trauma does not define who we are.
That's right.
And I wouldn't take that back. That experience has contributed to who and where I am today.
Yeah.
Now that took some work.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't do it alone, not by any means. No. And it's just, there is hope, there's empowerment, and there can be growth. And growth is being able to, after that energy that has been discharged and released, then you recognize, it's like you develop this deep self-awareness. Things that used to matter to you might not matter anymore. And that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. You might be going down a completely different path and honoring yourself rather than living this life of people pleasing and, oh, I should do this because that's what I'm supposed to do. And it can be transformational in these ways. And I don't want to lose that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And knowing that for that moment that you had that experience, that person, had the power, and that they don't have to always have your power. And in moving into your healing journey and moving on, they don't have power over you anymore.
No.
And the other piece, I think that deep thing that comes from that is that you finally feel, I deserve better. I don't deserve what happened to me, and I am worth loving, and I love myself. And it's when you get to that place, when you realize no matter what, you deserve and you love yourself.
Yeah.
It's, the world is your oyster, as they say then, because, that you may have other experiences, but as long as you hold on to that, you'll know in the end, I'm going to come through this, and I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah, the growth thing. We'll do more on the growth, because some people look at me pretty funny when I say, well, there's growth in that.
Yeah.
What, Margaret? That was a terrible thing that happened.
Yeah.
And yes, you honor that as well. It's not like we're deceiving ourselves. And I'm not saying, okay, what happened to me was okay, because it was not okay. Not at all. Okay. So where are we at, Vida? 6:58.
We're getting close.
So let me see where we're at here. We've got, and we probably need to do just a little bit of the loving kindness meditation.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I think so.
Okay. So as part of healing, this is so important, your self-care. And there's not just one dimension of self-care. There's your physical self-care, emotional self-care, spiritual, your personal self-care, your psychological, professional and occupational, and your social. There's a social aspect in there as well. So it's kind of managing all those areas of self-care, because maybe you have great physical self-care habits, but you don't socialize with anybody. You have no connections. And so you're missing that social connection piece that we all need, because whether we like it or not, we are social beings. It's necessary for our survival, whether we like it or not. Yes. So other ways that you could help somebody. So if somebody comes to you who is disclosing to you that they've experienced something traumatic, these are just a few tips for you to help you, because hearing that stuff, as Vida talked about, and we were talking about with vicarious trauma, there's helpful things to do and then not so helpful things to do. Okay. So don't pressure this person into talking about it. Some people believe, well, you got to talk about it. No. They will talk about it if and when they're ready to talk about it. There is no rule that you have to talk about it and then you somehow, no. Do normal things with this person. So if this is like a partner or a family member or a friend, don't treat them differently. Because they're hypervigilant, they're going to be very sensitive to how you're responding to them. And they may feel judged, and that wouldn't be helpful. And that's another thing. No judgment. Like, who are you?
Yeah.
Take care of your own stress. Be patient. Be patient. Yes. This trauma is not something that, goes away in 3 days. Be patient with yourself and with the person that has disclosed or that you're supporting. Accept and expect mixed feelings from you and from the other person. They might be angry one minute and bawling the next minute. Like, that's okay. It's intense sometimes, but it's okay. It's normal. Be a good listener. This person may repeat the same things over and over and over. And that might be part of their processing style and what they need to do and able to process. If you're not able to be there in that way, connect them with someone who can be with them. Because to tell someone, yeah, you already told me that, very unhelpful, very hurtful. Know your own boundaries. Like I've shared before on the show, and I've shared this with clients and publicly at presentations. I can't hear stories about animal abuse. That's a boundary that I have. So if I have somebody in my office who is starting to kind of go down a path, I will very gently just say, I might not be able to hear what you might need to say right now. If that is something that you do need to talk about with somebody, I will connect you with someone who is able to hear and support you through that. We have a responsibility to know what our boundaries are and to make sure we honor them, because not everybody out there in the world knows what our boundaries are. Like, I know what some of Ida's are. I don't know. I learn more, and I'm still learning about my own boundaries sometimes.
Yeah.
It's kind of an ongoing
sometimes
thing.
you don't know your own until somebody
you cross
steps
it and you're
over
like,
it.
shit.
And it's like, oh, I guess I have a boundary around that. Yeah.
Yes, I've done that too. Emphasize this person's strengths. That might be, thank you for sitting here with me. They might not even talk, but being able to maintain a presence takes strength, because you just want to shut down. You just want to go to bed, pull the blankets, shut her down.
Yeah.
Look for ways to empower them, not disempower them. They've already had their power taken away. They don't need that again. Anticipate and manage triggers. So having some grounding strategies. Julie, wonderful person in our lives who deals with essential oils. I have a bottle that she gave me last year. It sits on my desk, and every day when I come in, I put some on. And it just feels like I take a deep breath. So kind of having some tools and strategies of your own to help manage your own stress, and triggers if you get triggered, and helping support a person who's experienced trauma. Encourage them to talk to a professional, to seek some professional therapy, assistance, support. And again, take good care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. Yes. Okay, Vida. Of course, we can go on and on and on, but it's 5 after 7.
Yeah.
So I think what we'll do is we'll do our loving kindness meditation, and then we'll call it a day. I'll go home and make my yummy new dip recipe that I discovered that I might make for the jam. Oh, it's so tasty. It's so tasty. Now my belly's gonna start growling. Oh, did you hear? Oh, did you hear it?
It did. It rumbled. Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so we're gonna slow down for about 2 minutes. And if you doze off, I'll wake you up.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I was actually doing a lot of physical work for me today.
I know
so
you had a
I just
long, exhausting day today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it won't hurt me. And but if you
That's
hear
okay.
snoring,
I won't
if
leave
anybody
you.
hears snoring, it's just me falling asleep.
Okay. Okay, so for the next couple of minutes, just put all your worries and all your stresses up on the shelf. I'm going to turn my phone off. Hold on. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Has that ever happened
I thought
before?
you had had new musical accompaniment
rude
with
was
the
That would have
the-
went lovely, wouldn't it?
yes,
Ah, yes.
there.
That's what we'll do. We'll work on having some background harpish kind of music for when we do our guided meditation at the end.
Yes.
Yes, really, really put people to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay,
I've got myself all set now. I'm
Okay.
in my chair here and I'm ready.
okay, so back to putting all your stresses and all your worries on the shelf. Just allow yourself to be in this space, this here and now. You don't need to control your breathing in any way. Just allow it to be natural. Hear the sounds in the room around you. Begin to notice any tension you may be holding in your body. Begin to feel that tension start to drain away from you, from around your eyes and face, through your neck, shoulders, and down your arms. Feel the tension drain like a liquid down through your body and out through your toes. Now begin to feel your body fill up with love. Imagine a loving white light entering your feet, traveling up through your body, up to your stomach, to your chest and your arms. Feel it almost bursting through your heart, your fingers, and through the crown of your head. Feel it buzzing through your body and radiating from your skin. And when you feel embraced in that love, silently repeat the following words to yourself. May I be free from all harm. May I be safe and protected. May I be free from all suffering. May I be happy. May I be free from all disease and physical pain. May I be healthy and strong. And may I be able to live in this world happily, peacefully, joyfully, and with ease. Now think of someone that you love dearly, a partner, family member, friend. See this person in your mind's eye. Send loving thoughts to him or her and silently repeat the following statements. May you be free from all harm. May you be safe and protected. May you be free from all suffering. May you be happy. May you be free from all disease and physical pain. May you be healthy and strong. And may you be able to live in this world happily, peacefully, joyfully, and with ease. Now turn your thoughts to this vast world, the huge earth with all its living creatures. Continue to feel that love bursting through your heart as you silently say, May all beings be free from all harm. May all beings be safe and protected. May all beings be free from all suffering. May they be happy. May all beings be free from all disease and physical pain. May they be healthy and strong. And may all beings be able to live in this world happily, peacefully, joyfully, and with ease. Send your love as far out around the world as possible. And just imagine that energy traveling through the earth. Feel that love centered around your heart. Notice the weight of your feet on the floor, the bed or couch. Feel yourself in this moment, in the now, carrying this feeling with you through the rest of your day. When you are ready, you may slowly open your eyes. Goodbye, Emmett. Boy, Max. Oh, he's snuggling with the llama. See?
Oh, I can't see, but I'm imagining.
Oh, oh, that's so precious. Thank you for sharing that, Emmett. Oh, Max with his llama buddy.
Ah,
Okay.
yes,
Wow. Nice loving kindness meditation and a precious shot of a kitty loving his llama.
yes,
And we got a thank you from Julie.
yeah,
I just want to thank everybody here who spent your Wednesday evening with us.
yes,
Thank
yes.
you for coming and being a part of this. Yes. And I'm not sure when we'll be back on, Vida.
No, but
If- We'll be
hopefully,
back in the next couple of weeks.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Hopefully we'll do that. And I was just thinking maybe Kate's cat needs a llama.
Oh, yes.
Hmm,
We'll
something to think about.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I guess we're gonna sign off so I can go get some supper.
Yes. And make your dip.
Make my dip.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
please take care of yourself, everybody. Take care of each other. Be a hero.
yeah.
And we'll see you probably in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. See everybody soon.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night.